listened, and I think that's what we're listening to. Hello.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And then it actually, gives us a summary of all that we learned yesterday. If we're saying, I don't know if you joined us yesterday. Do you want to add something else?
Please no, thank you.
Okay. If I can hear you.
Please the question again.
So we want to know what you learned yesterday. Just give us, a recap. Something.
Okay, so yesterday I learned that with data journalism, I have to make my numbers or my infographics as simple as possible so that the average reader can read and understand it on its own without any assistance.
Very simple. I think that's really good. Thank you very much, Ifwa. And Aram, can you unmute and share with us what you learned yesterday? Is Aram around? Okay, so Aram couldn't join yesterday. I don't know if Asante Caleb Nyako joined yesterday and if he could unmute and share with us what he learned yesterday. Hello, Mr. Asante. Okay, so it seems we can hear Caleb. And so Ekia, I don't know if you would have to put it on your page, your WhatsApp platform again that we are starting. So we've started actually. So those who haven't been able to join can join us. So they share the link and we get the maximum participation. All right. So all right. If you couldn't join yesterday, we learned a lot, and then you may have received a hint of what we treated yesterday, per what Ifwa and then Jikono spoke about. They've simplified yesterday's lecture so simple, and I really appreciate that. I think they've done well. And that's basically what we learned yesterday, was just about data journalism. And we saw that it's not any rocket science. Data journalism simply means you getting the data, simplifying the data for the ordinary person, the ordinary, trotro driver, the ordinary, how do you call it, hawker, the ordinary person, anyone who is looking at your content can easily understand what you are trying to portray. So we saw that it is sometimes, or it is oftentimes very difficult to understand or appreciate numbers in their raw state. And so as data analysts, it is our responsibility to pick these numbers, visualize them, or tell the stories behind the numbers in a very simple way that, people can, follow, or people can easily understand. So that was basically what we learned yesterday. And so I don't want us to waste much time today, so I'll just have to go through the slides yesterday so that those who could not join can actually have a feel of what we learned yesterday. So I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you can see, then I continue. Is my screen visible?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Okay, all right, sure. Now let me continue. So I won't bore you with the introduction. I just want us to focus on this slide. Where yesterday we said that, as a data journalist, let me go here rather, the last aspect of your work is what we call the output. Okay, So after getting the data, cleaning it, visualizing it, and analyzing it, where does it go to? It can be presented on TV, on radio, or online. And then we also saw another means which we call the infographics. Okay. So yesterday I shared this infographics on Ghana's trip to the Eurobond market. Simply means how many times has Ghana borrowed from the Eurobond market under the Iswa Mahama government and then the Akufo-Addo government. So if you present something like this, it is so easy for someone to understand what you're trying to communicate. And then also we looked at this infographic, which talks about top 6 bribe takers in the private sector. We saw that teachers and lecturers in private schools were number 1, doctors number 2, private security guards number 3, insurance companies number 4, other business employees, and then bank employees being, the last 6. So that's fair enough. That's a good recap for what we learned yesterday. And then we also, spoke about some good 2-packs, some important 2-packs that as a data journalist, you need to have or you need to know of. So we talked about our everyday PowerPoint. We said that PowerPoint goes beyond just presenting, with bullet points in class. PowerPoint has a lot of, important features. You can even do video editing in PowerPoint. I don't know those who have explored PowerPoint to the maximum limit. You could see PowerPoint goes beyond just text. You can even do video editing. You can do animation with PowerPoint. You can present data in a very beautiful way in PowerPoint. Yeah. The next one we looked at was Canva, one of my favorites, where I told you that this slide that I'm even using, I use Canva to prepare it. And at work, I use Canva a lot, almost every time I work on data. I use Canva to visualize data. I spoke about SQL or SQL. I also talked about Photoshop. And then one of my other favorites being Data Wrapper, where I said we can create interactive maps here. If you missed yesterday's lecture, Akua has the record, and I'm sure she'll make it available for you to go through. There's also there's Power BI, and then there's also Adobe, Illustrator. Okay. Then importantly, we talked about data sources. Very, very important, because as a data analyst, what makes you special is where you pick your data from. It must be clean, it must be credible, it must be reliable, and it must be official. Okay. So we spoke about Bank of Ghana, Ghana Statistical Service, IMF, World Bank, Ministry of Finance, OECD data, OEC for trade statistics, and then UNHCR. These are just a handful of them. We have a number of them available, and the more you explore, the more you find these data sources. Then we also spoke about, as a data analyst, are there media houses that are ready to employ you? Yes, we spoke about Joy FM and Joy News and Joy FM employing data in their everyday work. We said City, and then City TV and City FM are also doing the same thing. And recently we have TV3 and then 3FM also joining the race. Okay. Yeah. So that was yesterday's lecture, simplified over there. But today I want us to focus on something different, an aspect of data journalism that is very, very important. I've shared a different screen. Can you see?
Yes, please.
Okay. So today what we are looking at is phase 2 of our training. Phase 1 looked at data journalism. Okay. And phase 1, we focus more on data analysis and data visualization. Let me put it that way. But phase 2 is another component of data journalism that you can't forgo as a data journalist or as a data analyst who work in a media house. That is fact checking. Fact checking is very, very important, because as a data analyst, you don't just churn out data, or you don't just provide data or visualize data. You are also required to listen to people's claims that they've made, and then also tell your team whether the statement they've made is true or false, or the statement is misleading, or the statement lacks, a certain kind of, credibility. So that's what we are going to look at today. fact checking is a component of data journalism, and as a data journalist, you need to know about fact checking as well. So fact checking simply have, let's say, 4 steps. First of all, you need to get your claim. And we all do statistics. Most of us are statistics students, so we know about, when we talk about claim, you know what a claim is, okay? So when you get your claim, I don't know, most of us have done hypothesis testing, and then claims are very important in this course. And that's very, very important. We're not going to do raw statistics here, but I just want to relate it to the claims we talk about when we are doing hypothesis testing, where they say the mean of a certain group is more than the mean of another group. I don't know if we've all been exposed to such questions or calls before. So after getting your claim, what do? You have to verify the claim. After verification, what do? You make a decision. Decision means, based on the evidence you've gathered, is your claim true or false? If everything is settled, then you go ahead to publish it. So as an everyday statistics student, I know then, fact checking is more or less like, how do you call it? What we do in one of our inferential statistics, or I've forgotten the old name we used to call it. So I know now it is called inferential statistics, but first we used to call it statistical methods. Yeah, statistical methods, where we do hypothesis testing. So we pick a certain group, let's say level 100 students, level 200 students, level 300 students. Then we say the mean of level 100 students is more than level 200 students, and is more than level 300 students. As a statistics student, what you have to do, or as a statistician, your responsibility is to test whether this claim is true, okay? And that's the same thing we are doing here when we talk about fact checking. So what is fact checking? What is a claim in itself? So first of all, a claim is a factual assertion made in non-fiction text. It simply means that the claim itself that you are talking about, meaning it has to be something that you can establish, okay? It has to be something that is not exposed to ambiguity. We all did academic writing, and we know about ambiguity, okay? So it means that if it is talking about Y, it is Y. If it's talking about X, it is X, okay? So for instance, the Joy News or Joy FM team monitors the media. We monitor what's going on in the media space. They will pick information from the space again, identify claims to meet our selection criteria. We have a selection criteria. We don't just go after anybody who speak, then we'll fact check. We have key people that when they speak, it can actually influence policy. So when you find the president speaking, when the president speaks, he can influence policy. So we will fact check the president. A former president will fact check him. Minister of Finance will fact check him. A minister of state will fact check him. An MP will fact check him. Speaker will fact check him. Any government appointee will fact check him. Or someone who is of a certain weight, who wields a certain high weight or very good weight. When those people speak, we go ahead to fact check those people to ascertain whether what they are saying is true or false, or it is misleading. So basically that is fact checking. And I know you now understand what a claim means. Very soon I'll be sharing with you some of the claims, and you see why I say a claim must be specific, and it must be, if it's Y, it is Y, if it is X, it is X. It must not be, it must not have like double standards. Yeah, let me put it that way. So what goes into our selection criteria? You can read it, but I won't bore you with this reading. You can read it on your screen or your phone. But just to say that, just like I was saying, at Joy FM or at Joy News, we have a system, we have a team, we have a research desk, okay, that will listen, we monitor programs. So when the president is speaking at a certain, Durbar, or he's giving a certain speech at Independence, we know that the president will definitely talk about the economy. The president will definitely say he did better than the previous government in a certain way. So we monitor those programs. Then we pick claims from those programs and we fact check them. We know tomorrow the finance minister will be presenting the mid-year budget review. What is a mid-year budget review? We know so tomorrow he will be presenting a mid-year budget review. We know the budget for 2022 was actually delivered in Parliament in November last year, which is 2021. So that was 2 months before the year, 2 months, or I think a month before the year ended. Okay. So it is obliged that the finance minister will come back to Parliament again in July to give us a mid-year budget review. It means that what we said we were going to do in 2022, are we on track? Are we getting the revenue we say we are going to get? Are we spending the amount we say we are going to spend? Are we embarking on the project we say will be embarking on? Have we borrowed an amount we say we'll be borrowing? That's what the finance minister will be. That's what the finance, someone's microphone is on. That's what the finance minister will be talking about tomorrow. So he will be giving us a perspective of where our economy is at the moment, where we are going, what we need to do. We know we are about to sign on to an IMF program. What will the finance minister say? We know we passed a very important tax measure, which is called the e-levy. Till date, we all don't know how much we've collected as a nation. The finance minister will reveal that tomorrow. So those things, when we expect those things, then we know tomorrow the finance minister is definitely going to make, some claims. And so as a team, as a media house, the research desk is tasked to monitor the team, to monitor the finance minister and come up with some of the claims he makes. And then we go ahead to fact check them, whether they are true or false or are misleading. Okay. So researching the claim. When you get your claim, okay, you take a certain criteria to clean it out, get a certain specific claim, means that the claim you are talking about must be written in a very simple way. Let's say President Akufo-Addo spoke about, let's say, Ghana's GDP in 2021. He may say a lot of things about Ghana's GDP, but as soon as he says that the GDP grew at 3.4, just say, according to President Akufo-Addo, Ghana's GDP grew at 3.4% in 2021. That's your claim. And you don't have to add any other chart or way to it. Okay, so that is it. And I don't know if, let me check the chat and see if someone. Someone says you can see page 11 of yesterday's slide. I am on page 6 of today's slide. Can we all see that? Hello, folks.
No, it's just 11. That's what I can see.
You also can see 11.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
611.
I'm sorry. Let me share my screen again. Can we see what I'm talking about now?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay, so we can see the 4 steps that I'm talking about. You can see the claim selection that I spoke about. And then you can also see the criteria we use at Joy FM or Joy News. And then what I am on at the moment, researching the claim. So when a claim is assessed as fact checkable or checkable by the editors, it is assigned to a researcher or a fact checker. Okay. So in this case, you, the data journalist, you qualify as a fact checker or as a researcher. Okay. So they are editors, they are the bosses. They'll say, oh, we want you to check, the president made this statement, we want you to check it for us. Okay. Then it's not cast in stone that as soon as the editor says that we have to check this, it means it's fact checkable. It's not everything that's fact checkable. Okay. So you, the researcher or the data journalist, you have to make sure that is this claim fact checkable? Can I go ahead to fact check this claim? Do I have the necessary data? Do I have the necessary, resources to actually say that this statement is true or false. Okay, so that would be your work as a data journalist to decide on that. Then after you are done searching about the claim, you go ahead to write the report. I'll show you how we write, some of these reports, and then we'll go ahead on that. And so I'll bore you with a lot of, way on this. So there's an editing process. When you are done with the report has to go to the editing bench. Okay, so the editors will have to go through it, and they will look at ethical issues and everything to say, hey, this one, if we put it out, is it correct? If we put it out, is it going to cause? Is the environment ready to receive this? Okay, so let's say at this moment we've heard a lot of things about terrorism. Okay, and we do a fact check on terrorism and we see that this is false. We want to put it out, but we assess the situation and say that, oh no, because there's so much tension in the sub-region, we feel it will be good to hold on to this for a while. When the tension goes down, then we put this thing out. That's an editorial decision. Okay, we do all those things before we publish the final reports, either on TV, radio, or online. Yeah. So when we check a claim, we have our rating system at Joy FM or Joy News. So when you check a claim, the claim can be true, false, or mostly true, or the claim can be mostly false, misleading, or when we are done, we can say we need more context, or we say the context in which we are fact checking is wrong, or we say there's insufficient evidence to back this claim or to fact check this claim. Okay, so those are some of the steps we take. So what does it mean to say that a claim is true? So a fact check is deemed true when all elements of such a claim pertain to factual information. It is also used contextually and verifiable at time of assertion. It simply means that he made a claim or someone makes a claim, you check, and every angle of your check point out that this claim is true. He said the economy grew at 3, it was 3. He said it grew at 4, it was 4. That's true. You can't go ahead to do anything about it. So we say the claim is true. Okay. And then please, am I the only one who still can't find the screen? Aram, can you find the screen now? All right, sure, thank you. All right, so when we say a claim is false, I know you are a statistics student, so if something is true, the opposite is false. So it means that if we find anything that is contradictory or anything that will say, so usually we in critical thinking, I remember when I was in UG, we used to do this if I forgot, there was a certain logical reasoning we used to do. So if A, okay, so if A is greater than B and B is greater than C, what does it mean? So, okay, let me put it, if A is less
A
than
is greater than C.
Exactly. So those are some of the things, those are some of the reasoning you'll be using. So it means that he said GDP grew at 3.5. You did your checks from reliable data sources and you realize that GDP was 4, GDP was 5. Simply put, this is false. Because the difference between in economic context or in GDP rate context, 3.4 and 4 or 5, there is a significant difference. So I remember when I was at the stat department and you write your exam, we know because we all use different calculators and sometimes different methods to calculate our final answers, our lecturers will leave a certain margin of error. So they will say your answer should not vary from a certain margin of error. If it's above that margin of error, we know you are wrong. Okay. So those are some of the things we use to say a claim is actually false or true. What about a claim which is mostly true? So a fact check is deemed mostly true when some elements of such a claim pertain to factual information used contextually and verifiably at the time of assertion. Usually, this rating will be assigned to fact checks with 3 or more claims. So sometimes you can have a single claim, okay? It says GDP grew at 3.4. That's a single claim. Then we can have a claim which says GDP grew at 3.4 and it was less than that of 2017. Or GDP grew at 3.4, it was less than that of 2017, and that was the least figure in the sub-region or in West Africa. How many claims? The person has made 3 claims in one full set of claims. Do you understand? So when you check this thing, sometimes, for instance, at Joy, we will not go ahead to do 3 claims in one claim. We will separate it. So we separate 3.4, we'll separate 2017, then we'll separate in the sub-region. So we check each and every one to see if it is true or false. Then we come out with a conclusion. But sometimes the person will say the thing in a way that you can't separate them. Do you understand? It means you have to find a way to check it, together. And sometimes you check portion is true, portion is false. So we say mostly true or partially true. So mostly true, that it means you can find a truthful element in it. And at the same time, you can also find a certain, false element in it. I hope you get me now.
Yes, please.
All right. So we also have mostly false. Mostly false, just like I was saying, it's also the opposite of mostly true. So I won't talk much about that. Then we say a claim is misleading. A fact check is deemed misleading when elements of a claim are too complex to be termed true or false. This could mean 2 things. So simple. When you are done with the fact check and you realize, I can't say this is true, I can't say this is false, I can't also say this is partially true or false, I can't say this is also partially false or true, that means I'm in the middle. Then I can just simply say, it's misleading. Misleading in the sense that, well, there's a certain element in the claim that makes it so difficult for me to establish that this is true or false. It makes the whole thing, misleading. So I can conclude that this claim the president or the finance minister or the minister is talking about is misleading. Okay, so that's also one thing. Then more context is needed, or wrong context. So when the claims, oversimplifies complex issues, on a surface level, these may seem correct, but they are either used out of context or depict an unintended meaning. Okay, so sometimes someone will say something and it is very true that what the person is talking about is true, or what the person is talking about is false, but the person will use the claim in a wrong context. So in itself, because the whole thing is in a wrong context, you can't go ahead to say the claim is true or false, but I can only say that, we need more context, or it was used in a wrong context. So that will be your judgment. I don't know if you understand me now.
Yes, we get you.
Okay, great. And also the final one, we can say a claim has insufficient evidence. And we do this almost all the time. Those of us who are in, let's say, level 200 to level 400, if you're a level 100 student and you join us, you definitely see this. We do hypothesis testing, and I really used to love it. Then you write your conclusion, say there is enough evidence to state that at 5% significance level, the mean of this is more than the mean of the other. Do you understand? Those are the same thing that play out when we are doing fact checking. So we say there's insufficient evidence, or in statistics, we say there's sufficient evidence. But when you are a data journalist and you are faced with a claim and you want to say that there's insufficient evidence, then it simply means that I have the claim all right, but I can't establish that this is true, false, misleading, mostly true, or mostly false, or wrong context, because I do not have evidence to back this. Okay. So assuming the finance minister comes to say that, or let's say one of the government's boys, let's say the information minister, Kojo Oponkroma, says that e-levy, we've collected 4 billion so far in the last 2 months. We all know that the only way we can find how much we've collected as a country from e-levy is when the finance minister comes to give the mid-year budget review, or we see them publish the e-levy outturns in what we call the fiscal data on the finance ministry's website. At this moment, we don't find anything like that in the fiscal data. Neither has the finance minister appeared before Parliament to talk about what we've raked in from the e-levy. So it means that, well, Oponkroma has made a claim, but I do not have sufficient evidence, or I do not have evidence available to say that it is true or false. So I can simply say that there is insufficient evidence to actually check this claim. Am I clear on this?
Yes, please.
Great. So I'll be going ahead to share some of the claims. I'll do President Akufo-Addo and then President Mahama. We'll look at some of the claims and then we'll fact check them right now so that you know what we do as data journalists when in the arena of fact checking. But before that, can someone give us, I want you to share your views. What have you learned, or what do you have questions, or what you've learned? Tell us about it. And so let me go to the participants and select mention at random. Grace Osei. Grace Osei, are you here? Can Grace hear us?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Sure, Grace. So let's hear you too.
The question again.
Just what you've learned in this short period.
I learned about how the data is collected and how they are usually done.
Okay. All right.
I also got to, okay.
I'm listening, Grace.
I also learned about misleading data which is described as mostly false, mostly true.
Okay.
And data which may contain insufficient evidence.
Great. Thank you very much, Grace. We are grateful. That was very good. And do you have Sharif? Can Sharif unmute and share with us what he's learned so far?
Hello, sir. Okay,
Yes,
I
sir.
learned that not all claims can be fact-checked. So
Great.
some can be fact-checked, others can't be. Yeah.
Very important. Very important. Impressive. Thank you so much. And do we have Dela? Do we have Dela here? Mauko. Mauko or Presla? Presla T. Presla T. Okay. So random, anyone. I want to hear from two or three people. Then we, box ahead. Okay, Solomon.
Please, are we doing everything? Am I supposed to say what I've learned today or so far since yesterday?
No, just this fact checking.
Just as fact checking.
Yeah.
Okay, I was I was late, but looking through, I got some little understanding on more context needed, even though you had already done the explanation. So it looks like you might have the right claims, the right stuff with respect to what you are saying, but then when you do not put it in the right scenario or you give a wrong explanation to, or I don't know how to really put it, but I was late, but that's some kind of like understanding I got from reading it.
Great, fantastic, grateful. All right, last person, then we box on. Do we have anyone whose hand is up? Elvis. Elvis, can you share with us what you learned? Is it the Elvis I know, Elvis Shebafo? Do we have Elvis on board? Okay. So we don't see. Is Elvis on board?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you, Elvis.
I think that data, you have to get to the real source.
Great.
As the example you gave, like if you want information pertaining to finance, you have to go to the mutual finance data. As
Great.
what you're saying, so that's where you can support our claim. So that's where the real part is there that we can search. Yeah. Not otherwise, as in short information.
Very important, Elvis. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. So he says that when you get a claim, you must make sure that the place you are going in for your data should be reliable. So yesterday I took time to go through some of the key, data sources, official data sources that we can find data from. Okay, that's great. So can we all see the two gentlemen on our screen? Presidents.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
All right. So they've made a lot of claims. Okay, and since I joined the multimedia group or Joy FM, there's not a single man that we don't check claims made by Mr. Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, and Mr. Mahama, His Excellency, or finance ministers or whoever. Okay. So I have a lot of their claims, but tonight I just decided to pick two for Akufo-Addo, two for Mahama for us to go through as, for us to train with when we talk about fact checking. So for Akufo-Addo, I have two claims. Mahama, I also have two claims. So you see how I wrote the claims. Very simple, coincide, not plenty words. Very, very simple, because I work in a media house. And if I read a claim, I must back the claim with a sound. So I will just introduce what the president said. Then the sound itself will come and talk about what he said. Okay. So I don't need to write a lot about what he has said. I just have to give as the highlight, the claim. Okay. Just like in statistical, inferential statistics, you can say the mean of A is less than the mean of B. You don't go and say the mean of A is less than the mean of B. But the mean of A, when we were calculating, blah, 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 you don't do that. You just say the mean of A, and that's all the hypothesis you are testing. It's the same thing for fact checking, okay? The same thing. So make sure your claim is concise, your claim is simple, your claim has all the elements you need. Don't throw in chaff. It will go ahead to frustrate you and affect the way you put out your data. Okay. So first of all, let's start with President Akufo-Addo. So as a fact checker or as a data journalist, when you are checking a claim, first of all, devoid yourself of the person. Don't just look at the claim. Even in fact checking, we have a rule. We say in God we trust, everyone else must present data. In God we trust, everyone else must present data. So even you yourself, if you make a claim, you can fact check yourself because you are not above the law. And that is fact checking. It's a beautiful world because in that world, there is no one above the law. The only person who probably is above the law because of his attributes is God. Okay. And I don't think there's any man who has the attribute of God for us to put him above the law. So everyone is subject to fact check. Okay. All right. So that's one thing you have to, as a fact checker or as a data analyst, you have to get it clear in your head that everyone else must present data. The only person who is above the law is God. Okay. So President Akufo-Addo is not above the law. Mahama is also not above the law. So President Akufo-Addo made this claim. He said, Ghana's economy grew at 5.4% in 2021. Ghana's economy grew at 5.4% in 2021. Beautiful claim. Very simple claim. So as a fact checker, the first question you have to ask yourself, he has made a claim. I have my claim now. I've cleaned it out nicely. I've stated it out in a very precise manner. Where do I get my data? That's the first question you have to ask yourself. Where do I get this data to check whether Ghana's economy grew at 5.4 or otherwise? Can someone help me with a data source? Where can we get a claim? Sorry, where can we verify this claim?
Ghana Statistical Service.
Very good. Ghana Statistical Service. Why? Because Ghana Statistical Service is the only institution mandated to calculate or compute, GDP figures, inflation, GDP, census, other important government survey. It is the responsibility of Ghana Statistical Service to independently do these things. Okay. So if you want GDP figures, the best place to go is the Ghana Statistical Service website. But another challenge is sometimes you know that I'm supposed to go to Ghana Statistical Service website, but the key question is, so if I go to the website, where do I go? It's like knowing that, you can get a job when you come to Accra. But the key question is, when you get to Accra, how do you start? Which company are you going to? Which company will take will accept you, will accept your labor force? Do you understand? So Solomon has given us he's given us the right place to go actually. Apart from the Ghana Statistical Service, there is another place we can check, but that's a secondary source. Okay, which other place can we check this? Yesterday we spoke about it. But I want us, please speak.
I don't know if it's the World Bank data. I know World Bank also provides such data, so I can check from there.
Great. So World Bank data. The only difference is that World Bank data delays. Okay. So as it stands now, if I go to the World Bank data, I can find Ghana's GDP growth rate from 82 or something, up to 2021. If I want GDP growth data for 2022, I can't get it from World Bank at the moment. Okay. So it means that World Bank is a secondary source, very important. But the primary source, always look for the primary source first. Then you also look for the secondary source. Okay. So the primary source is where? Ghana Statistical Service. That's the primary source. So now let's go to Ghana Statistical Service website, and then I'll show you how you are going to surf, on the website and mine your data. How do you mine the data from the Ghana Statistical Service website? So I'm going to share a different screen for you to see. Stop sharing screen. And here we go. Okay. Can you see?
Yes.
So what you see here is Ministry of Finance. That's not what. So if you check my browser, you can see I've pinned this important data sources, all of them here. You see, I've pinned them here because I use them almost every day. Okay. So I'm looking for Ghana Statistical Service, and there you go, bingo. Ghana Statistical Service. But Ghana Statistical Service, usually when you open the website, it will send you to the home page. Okay. So let's take a stroll on the Ghana Statistical Service website. First of all, the home page is how it looks like. It's a summary. And usually the summary doesn't give you what you actually want. Okay. So you have this crawl bar here, giving you provisional annual GDP growth rate for 2020-21. And bingo. Even without going into this, I can see 5.4 here, right? Can you all see the crawl bar?
Yes.
Okay. But I don't want to use this crawl bar because sometimes these crawl bars, I can't say according to the Ghana Statistical Service crawl bar, no. Because it is automated. Sometimes there can be a mistake, so I can't rely on this. So what I have to do is to come here. You see, what we are talking about is economic, okay? So we have home, about 2021 housing census, economic, media center, publication, data requests. Usually when you request for data, they don't give you. COVID-19 statistics and economic. So I know economic is where I'm supposed to come from. And when you go under economic, you are looking for GDP. GDP is usually under national account. National account. So I click on national account. And then it gives me this page. Okay. So this is a place that you can read about, give you some idea of what is here. So what do I see? I see annual GDP. I see GDP bulletin, GDP per expenditure, GDP by production, newsletters and all that. Newsletters are what they use to understand, what they use to announce the GDP. So if you want to read some, they are here. But I know I'm looking for an annual because the president said 2021. 2021 is a whole year. So I'm not looking for any quarterly data. I'm looking for an annual data, right? We know GDP is calculated quarterly, right?
Yes.
Great. So I'm looking for an annual data. So I click on annual GDP. And then it brings me to this, this screen. And I see annual GDP 2006 to 2021. Now, you have to be so clever to the extent that you need to know that Ghana's GDP has been rebased to the extent that we are no longer using 2006. We are now using 2013, okay? So if you go and use this to check President Akufo-Addo's claim, he will be doomed because we've stopped using 2006. That's why you need to be on top of issues and know what is going on in the media space, know what is going on in the governance of the country as a data journalist. So know that annual GDP, 2006 has been rebased. So moved away from 2006, we are now at 2013, okay? And I know I've downloaded it. So the latest that was done was April 2022. So you can check and download it. Just click on it to download. I know I've downloaded it already somewhere here. So let me show in data and then open. Okay, so when you open this, what do you see? You see the Excel sheet, right?
We are not seeing any Excel sheets. I'm sure it's yet to appear.
Okay. Let me know when you see it. And if it's delaying, let me know.
It's not coming. So apparently it's delaying.
So let's download it again. Okay, so you see, someone should have fact checked what I just said. So we see here, I know there is a 2006 rebase and there's a 2013 rebase, but I didn't check. It says 2006 to 2021. So the claim I made here was wrong. Nobody fact checked me. Okay. So this is not.
I saw it, but then I thought you wanted from 2013 to 2021.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
yes.
So this still has the 2013 rebase. So we can download the June. So let's download. Click on it and it will download. Okay. So you see, just like I said, everyone else is fact checkable. Everyone else must be subject to data except God. So while I'm speaking, fact check me. All right, so now let me share screen. Please hold on, I'm coming. Okay. I'm trying to find a way to okay, let me just share this and see if it will be good. Do you see my new screen?
Yes, it's the statistical service
Website, right?
Yeah.
So you can still see the Excel sheet.
No.
Wow. Please hold on. All right. Can you see what I downloaded?
Yes.
Great. So when you download it, this is how it looks like. So I'm not interested in all this plenty writing because I've read them over and over again. But when you download it, you should go through. It gives you an idea of where to go when you're looking for. Okay, so we see the memorandum of items, the MIs. So we see economic aggregates. So this data doesn't only give you GDP. What does it give? It gives you population. Why is it so important that this document is giving you population? Can someone help us?
Can I try?
Yeah, sure. Solomon, you can try.
I feel like population is a factor or is a factor to the gross domestic product. So maybe if we have a less population and we have a high GDP, or a high population and less GDP, which doesn't tally. I mean, we can use that to draw some analysis. I don't know. That's what I think.
Well said. Who else? Can someone else, why must we add population in this chart? You can unmute and speak, please.
Please, to calculate GDP per capita.
Great. Specific. GDP per capita. That's the only reason why we have to add population, because GDP per capita simply divides your GDP, which is this. This is your GDP, either in Ghana cedi or in dollar. Then it will be divided by your population as the denominator, and that will give you the GDP per capita. Simply means that if you should share your fortunes in the country, how many will each citizen get? Okay. So we see here GDP per capita in Ghana cedi and GDP per capita in US dollars. So usually we use the US dollars because the Ghana cedi is not stable. So in 2000, and we'll go back to President Kofi Agyei's claim, but I just want to point out something. In 2013, when we divide the country's fortune, every citizen was getting 2,453 cedis per year. So if we were to pay everyone per year, we would have paid everyone 2,453 cedis in 2013. That's a whole year.
Please.
Sorry, in dollars, sorry. In dollars. So it means that that's a whole year. If we divide it per month, you could see how much you'll be getting per month. And in 2014, it dipped, okay? The GDP per capita dipped, probably because population grew, but GDP grew all right, but population had outgrown GDP. So that could be a decline again in 2015. 2016, there was an increase. 2017, increase. 2018, an increase to $2,273. A decline to $2,257, an increase. And currently, 2021 is the latest figure on the Ghana Fiscal Service website, is $2,565. Okay. And that means if you convert it to cedis, that will be around, 14,891 cedis. That's quite good. So that's it. That's the reason why we have to add population to this. Okay. Other than that, we will not bother ourselves adding population. So that's not what I'm looking for. I am looking for growth rates. So you see, these were economic aggregates. It means it's giving the nominal figures, and then the growth rates will give you in percentage. Okay. So how has GDP grown from 2013 to what we have now? So I have always note, the politicians always quote GDP at constant price, not at market prices. So please note that at market price, the GDP grows higher than at constant prices, because at market price, you don't factor in inflation, but at constant price, we factor in inflation, we take everything out, okay? So it means this is what I'm looking for. GDP at constant price, 2013 rebase, constant price, 2013, because we are still using 2013 rebase. So if you had seen 2006, it means you should go and look for another data, okay? All right. So the president said in 2021, GDP grew at how many percent? Hello.
Hello.
What was the claim? He said GDP grew at a certain percentage. So the president said GDP grew at 5.4, right? Huh?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we check the figures. 2021, the GDP growth rate was 5.4. Okay. GDP growth rate was 5.4. So it means what the president said was what was true. Okay. So bingo, that was a true statement made by President Akufo-Addo, right? So now let's go ahead and check other claims. And okay, sure. Can you see the slides?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the president's first claim was Ghana's economy grew by 5.4% in 2021. We went to check, was it 5.4?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, the word.
So this is completely true. So this is how you write your this one, your report. So you state your claim according to President Akufo-Addo speaking at this event, at blah 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 event. Ghana's economy grew by 5.4% in 2021. Then you bring your verdict. Verdict. This is true. So you made your verdict. This is true. Then after giving your verdict, come and give us an explanation of why you think the president said is true. Then in fact, again, the most important thing is quoting. Where did you get your data? How was it presented? Who gave you that data? So this is true. I now give my judgment. Then I come to explanation. Then I write, according to the Ghana Statistical Service National Account Data release, if there is the date that was released, quote the date. According to the Ghana Statistical Service National Account Data, Ghana's GDP growth rate for 2021 was indeed 5.4% as claimed by the president. You are done. Simple fact check. Do you get me now?
Yes, please.
Okay, so let's assume I am the newly elected president, and I'm giving a speech, and I want you to fact check me. Then I'll ask everybody. So I'm making a claim. Ghana's growth rate between 2017 and 2021 was on average 7.3%. Ghana's GDP growth rate between 2017 and 2021 was on average 7.3%. Let's go fact check this and then we see. So how do you start? You have your claim, right? I've made a claim that the average GDP growth rate between 2017 and 2021 was 5.3%. You understand? Where do you go to get your data? Go to where the Ghana Statistical Service website, look for economic, then select national account data, download the, how do you call it? Download the data there, then, tell me whether what I said was true or false. So we all have, let's say, 1 minute to do this, fast. We have 1 minute to do this. Let's hurry up. So the claim is that the average GDP growth rate from 2017 to 2021 was 7.3%. Check if this is true or false. All right. I think we should be done by now, because this is pretty much straightforward. Is there anyone who wants to share with us what he or she, discovered? Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Who is ready to share with us what he or she found?
Hello, sir.
I'm here.
Please, I didn't get the question.
So I made a claim.
Please, can you come?
I made a claim that Ghana's GDP growth rate on average was 7.3% between 2017 and 2021, or from 2017 to 2021. Who is willing to share with us what he or she found? Ikuya, will you take the bullets on behalf of your people?
Isaac. I'm afraid they try.
Okay. So Ikuya has given up on you, so please try. Jesse. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
So now let's go through, since no one has given me a definite,
We are still on it. It's new to us trying to fetch data.
Sure, okay. Okay, then this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to display the, okay, find the data is also very important. So go ahead and find the data. I'm just looking at Mohammed's picture and he said, we've kept long. Akufado's picture is saying the same. Just Elvis. Hello, folks. Were we all able to download the Excel sheet?
No, please.
Okay, so I'm sharing the Excel sheet with Ikea. Then she'll put it on your page. Then maybe we can all access it. So that's.
Okay, sir. Please, thank you.
Ikea, do you have it now?
Yes, please, I have it.
Okay, so forward it to your page so that we all have it. You can now open it on your laptops or on your phone or any other device.
Please,
So
did you say average growth rate was, you said it's about 7.3?
Yes.
Well, apparently, I don't know how true my data is, but when I checked from the World Bank, this one, I did my own computations and I got 5.34 from 2017 to 2021. I don't know how true that is because I really tapped to get the data, so I don't know.
You use World Bank.
Yes.
So great, very good to use World Bank. But we said that when you have a primary source, use the primary source first, then use the secondary source to complement it.
Yes, I went to the GSS and it was very difficult finding data from their page. Yes.
Okay. So the GSS data was what?
Sir, we usually finding data
On GSS.
from GSS.
Oh, but I just showed you how to do that.
Yes, I went. It just wasn't given. When I got to the World Bank data website, it was very easy to like find what I was looking for.
Yeah, but you know, as a data analyst or as a fact checker, in statistics, we call something convenient sampling, right? Where you sample people based on availability and the fact that you feel that's the easiest way to get it. Statistics, in terms of fact checking, you have to, break your neck and make sure you get the primary data first. Because World Bank is a secondary source. If World Bank says 5.3 and Ghana Statistical Service says 7.3, every government person will go with Ghana Statistical Service. They will not go with World Bank. Do you get me? So
yes,
make
please.
sure that the first thing, ask yourself, what is the primary data? Find that primary data first, and then you go ahead to find the secondary data to complement it. Okay. So Jukuno, you can ask your question. Hello, Jukuno.
Sir,
You can ask your question.
please, you said the average growth rate is what?
7.3%.
Please, it's not true.
It's false, right?
Yes.
What did you get?
I get 5.34.
5.34.
Yes.
Great. So it means that what Solomon was saying was true. I just didn't want Solomon to conveniently go to the World Bank's website and get the data. I want him to get Ghana Statistical Service data first. So you say, I'm not saying I also do my checks and see if it is true or false, but in case what you are saying is true, so we say Ghana's, okay, so you're right, your claim, Ghana's GDP growth rate between 2017 and 2020 was 7.3%. Then you come, verdict, this is false, or this is completely false. Reason, according to the Ghana Statistical Service website, or according to the Ghana Statistical Service national account data, quote the name of where you pick the data from. It's from Ghana Statistical Service, all right, but in which document did you find a national account data? According to the Ghana Statistical Service national account data, Ghana's GDP growth rate between 2017 and 2021 was 5.34%. And also, the World Bank website or the World Bank, how do you call it? Data on Ghana also affirms that Ghana's GDP growth rate was 5.34 and not 7.3% as indicated by Isaac Kofi Agyei. You're done. I hope you get me.
Yes.
Great. All right. So
Yes, please.
now I know you all have the Excel because I shared with Ikea, and you should have that on your class platform by now.
Please, sorry, I don't have it yet. I want to add it to the Google Drive, so it's taking some time.
Oh, okay. All right. But I'm sharing the screen. So if you download the data, this is what you see. And you see that at this point, what we are talking about wasn't outright. You can't find average GDP growth rate between 2017 and 2021 here. It will give
you have to calculate.
You have to calculate. Great.
Yes.
That is why you need to know how to calculate average, okay, as a data journalist or as a fact checker. So I go to the constant price side and I'll pick the GDP for 2017. I'll pick 2018, 2019, and I'll pick 2020, okay? And I'll pick 2021. So if you add all of this and divide by 5, right?
5. Yeah.
What do you get?
5.34.
5.34, okay?
Yes.
Great, so that's the average GDP growth rate between
5.34.
Yes, so it means that what I said it was 7.3 was wrong. Do you understand? So you've proven it wrong.
Okay.
You use Ghana Statistical Service national account data, and then the World Bank account. The World Bank data also said that it wasn't 5.3, and then 7.3 in the arena of GDP growth rate is so huge. You can't. But pardon me, we are statistics students. Do you see any outliers here? What is actually influencing the rate not being 7 and not being 7.3? Are there outliers in this observations?
Yeah, 0.5 and 8.1.
Exactly. 0.5 itself and 8.1, they are actually the ones influencing the kind of output we are getting. Do you understand? They are the outliers. If for 6.2, 6.5, and then 5.4, we probably would have gotten a certain, reasonable data. But so far as we have 0.5 in there, it will drift,
To pull it down.
to actually pull the whole, percentage down. So yeah, that is it. Great. Let's move to another claim. President Akufo-Addo. Still, we are on Akufo-Addo, right?
Yeah.
Can you see? I've shared a different screen. Can you see it?
Yes, please.
You can see Akufo-Addo and Mohammed's pictures.
You can see.
Yes, please.
Yes,
So let's
please.
go ahead and do the second claim, which says that government spent
Yes.
31.7 billion on payment of compensation of employees in 2021. It simply means that in 2021, if you add wages and salaries and all other emoluments, government paid its workers 31.7 billion Ghana cedis. So you ask yourself, is this true? Let's go and check. How do we check this? He's talking about how much government has spent. He's talking about money. Who actually keeps our money in this country?
Bank of Ghana.
Bank of Ghana keeps our money, but who actually makes accounts for it?
Ministry of Finance.
Great. So the best place to go will be either Bank of Ghana or Ministry of Finance. My best shot will be Ministry of Finance because they are the primary source Bank of Ghana is a secondary source. Why? Because Bank of Ghana, they also pick their data from where? Ministry of Finance. Okay. So as I said, primary source should be your number one before secondary source. Okay. So in this case, we've been able to identify two sources. Okay. Bank of Ghana and Finance Ministry. But I'm going with Finance Ministry first because Finance Ministry is primary, okay? And Bank of Ghana is secondary. Why is Bank of Ghana secondary? This is because Bank of Ghana, they pick their data from Ministry of Finance. Not all their data. They also have some of their primary data they do. Do you understand? So let's go to Ministry of Finance website to check this claim. Wait, is this interesting? Do you find this interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually.
Very helpful.
Yes, please.
Yeah, when you go to when you
Find
go
it interesting.
yeah, great. So sometimes tomorrow, for instance, I'll do a lot of this because the finance minister will speak. Now I'll get a lot of claims, and then I'll sit down with my team, we'll fact check. It's interesting. You see those who
We
are
can help
lying.
you.
That would be very great. That would be very great. So we see those who are telling the lies and then those who are telling the truth. So remember, sometimes you'll be in the house and say, hey, they said Baumia has gone to lie, or they say this person has gone to lie. You ask yourself, who and who checks those things? Is the work of the data journalist or the fact checker? So when they speak, our responsibility.
Of you.
What you say?
It's the work of you.
So you that's your work, okay, as a data journalist or as a fact checker. It's nice when you sit down and test to see if people are lying or they are telling the truth, and some of them lie. And it's nice when can actually find data to, say that what you said is true or what you said is false. So yeah, that is it. And when you are doing this, just imagine this country, how we are particular about parties, NDC, MPP. So imagine go and say something. Akufo-Addo says that Ghana's economy grew at 5.4, and I was checking and I didn't check one. I said, oh, the president lied. It was 4.5, not 5.4. Imagine the number of party foot soldiers who will come after me in my social media or my social media handles, and then probably in person. So it means that this work, there is no room for error. One error will spoil your reputation. And so when you are doing it, you must do it with all manner, the highest level of diligence, because there is no room for error. And one of you, he's in the class right now. He joined us for an internship, and he saw how the heated environment in which we work. Because sometimes the request comes so late, but you need to make sure you do it because they need it on air. And you don't say because it came late and you have to put it on air, so you just go and do anything, haphazard. You need to make sure you do it within the time they request for it and it is accurate. So he was like, hey, this environment is really harsh and it's tough, but that is your work. And that's what you've been trained to do as a data journalist or as a fact checker. And so it's nice sometimes you have the breathing space to check. Sometimes it will come in a rush. They need it on the news at 6 o'clock or 7. You have to make sure you do it and give it to them or go and present it yourself. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say, but all I'm saying is that it's a nice work, but there's no room for error. Probably there's room for error, but the margin of error is so minute to the extent that it is negligible. I don't know if you get me.
Yes, please, we get
Yes, we
you.
do.
Yes. So fact checking is like a doctor who is performing surgery on a patient, you can't risk anything. That's one thing I remember in statistics, that whenever you are doing medical research, the margin of error is, I think, 0.01 or something like that. 0.1 or something. Just 1% error. In fact checking, the error bar is actually raised. The error bar is actually raised. Do you understand? To the extent that you can make mistake, but the mistake you make should not affect the output. It should be a mistake that can be ignored or neglected. Do you understand? Let's focus on. So President Akufo-Addo has made a claim that Ghana spent 31.7 billion cedis to pay workers in 2021. How do we check? We've identified two sources. First one is Bank of Ghana. But we say we are not choosing Bank of Ghana because Bank of Ghana is not primary, but rather Ministry of where? Finance, right?
Finance.
Ministry of Finance.
Okay. Can you see their websites on your screen?
Yes, please.
So as usual, sometimes you know where to go, but how to look for the information is the most important thing. So I say that all of you should pay attention here so that when you go to the websites, you know where you are going. There's home, there's about. When you put the cursor on it, to give you what, so on the about, you see their divisions and department, management and clients. That's not what you're looking for. There's data. There's fiscal data, there's IMF, EGDDS data. Then we also have investor relations, public debt. So if you want to know how much government has borrowed, here. They have news and events. They also write their own news, and then there are some of the things they put out so they can find it. Publications. When they do research or they release a certain report, this is where you can find it. This is where you can find the national budget. So tomorrow, as soon as the finance minister is done reading the media budget, when you come here, you find it here. Okay. You can also find the budget in Chi here, in Chi, or in Ga and Dagbani. I think they are also here. It's called the citizens budget. Let me click on it and show you how it is done. So if you click on it, you see this. It's well packaged, very neat. So national budget. So 2022 budget is here. You see the budget statement itself and economic policy. And then you also see budget highlights, MMDA ceiling. This is for the ministries, government departments and agencies. Then you also have the Appropriation Act. Okay. So it means what they call the citizens budget for 2022 has not been released. It means they are still writing it. So you see them writing the budget in Chi and Ga here. That's it. In 2021, it is ready. You can see it's your citizens budget. Okay, can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Open citizens budget. You find the budget written in Chi, in English. Sorry, in Ga, in other Ghanaian languages. So that's not what we are looking for actually. So let's go back. What I want us to look for is here, data. You go to data. When we say something is fiscal, it means money or let's say expenditure, okay? Fiscal data. That is where you can find how much government is spending on items, how much government taxes are bringing in, how much revenue we are raising, how much we are spending on certain things, okay? This is where you can find those things. So you click on it, fiscal data, and then it opens. So when it opens, you find out that the fiscal data is disaggregated into years. So we have this being the most recent one, which is the 2022 fiscal data. It is only from January to March, okay? This is why you can't find how much we've raised from e-levy, because e-levy started in May. So it means this data will not capture it. So we wait for the finance minister to present from April to June. Then we can find other fiscal data here. But that's not what we are looking for. President Akufo-Addo's claim was on 2021. And we know 2021 is from January to December, right? So we can actually find this here. Where do we go? I want someone to point it out to me, so I click on it. You can unmute and speak.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Please, 2021, January to June.
Great. January to June. That will not capture the whole year, right? That will capture just, 6 months.
Yes, please.
January to December.
So we need January to December. January to June is a good idea, but that will not capture, that will be a misleading analysis, okay? Because that will capture only half of the year. But January to December will capture the full year, because remember President Akufo-Addo said 2021, it means from January to December. Do you understand? So let's click on that.
Yes, please.
When you click on it, it will download in an Excel sheet. Someone's microphone is on. Okay, so I'm downloading it. Okay, so I'm downloading fiscal data, January to December. So you see, someone suggested January to June. That would have been very deadly, because if you go and use that, you go and make wrong conclusion, right? Isn't it?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, please.
Yeah, so you must be very careful when you are choosing your data source. So I'm going to share my screen so you see what I downloaded. Can you see?
Yeah.
President Akufo-Addo was talking about, the president was talking about expenditure. So I'll quickly, there are three, how do you call it, different buttons that I can access here. I can access the summary. So can I access revenue? I can also access expenditure. What he was speaking about was expenditure. We've spent, so it's an expenditure. So I'll not go to revenue. I'll not even bother myself on revenue. I'll go straight and click on expenditure. And then on expenditure, bingo, what I'm looking for is right here. Compensation of employees. Can you see it?
Yes.
You can see it now, right?
Yes, sir.
Great. So watch this. Pay attention here. Check. Look at here. Look here. The last time the Ministry of Finance updated this was 22nd April 2022. It means this is a live statistics. They can change it anytime. So the last time they authored this was 2022 April at 2:01 p.m. Okay. And I'm not looking for use of goods and services. I'm not looking for interest payment. I'm looking for what? Compensation of employees. I'm looking for the headline figure. I'm not looking for just wages and salaries. Neither am I looking for SNITs or social contribution. All this will sum up to the compensation of employees. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Great. So now look at this column. This column is how much government budgeted to spend. How much government budgeted to spend 3.31 billion, but we are not looking for budget statement. We are looking for how much we actually spent. Okay. So we go straight to and be clicking and go to the last one. So here we can find how much we spent to pay workers in the second quarter of 2020, the second quarter of 2020, second quarter of 2021, second quarter of 2021. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for the last bit where we have So here I see 2021, the entire 2021, the provisional outing, meaning this is how much we paid in total. Everything you find here sum up to this. Okay, so this is a total. Okay, so I asked myself, this is what I'm looking for. This is a figure I'm looking for. It's how much? 31.66 billion. Do you agree with me? It's 31.66 billion. Just look at the figure.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what I found. I'll go straight to what the president said. The president said we had spent 31.7. So, this is completely true. Because if you run 31.66 billion to the nearest, to the first decimal place, that will be about 31.7 billion, right?
Yeah, 31.7.
Great. So bingo, what President Akufo-Addo said was true. So we checked, and that was true. We may not have time to do that of Mahama, but if you have time, I'll share the slide with Ekuya. You can use the same approach to check, that of Mahama and other things. But I want to share, time is fast spent, so I want to share some of the works we've done as a team, and then you see how we put this out. I'll share a video presentation of how we put it on TV. Okay, I'll share it with the Ekuya. And then, but right now I want to share with you. You remember we said this, look at this. We spoke about wrong context, or we spoke about, wrong context. Okay. I want us to look at this example. So sometimes politicians are clever. Okay. And as a data analyst or as a data journalist, you also have to be clever. In the sense that someone can be quoting, unemployment rates, and it's very low. But if you check, that unemployment rate is 2009, but they will still be making a case whilst we are in 2022. A person will be using 2019's figures to paint a picture in 2020. That's a wrong context, right? You paint a picture to us that, come on, unemployment rates is less. But you and I know that if you should use today's figures, it is far worse. So let's look at a critical example. One example that's we fact check. And let me share this with you. Come in, I'll share my screen shortly. So okay, so this is one of the videos we did. And here is a fact check video. I'll share this with the Ekuya, I should share with you. And when we check this claim, there were 3 claims that the president made. 2 were correct, 1 was wrong. And see someone's comment say, you see, Nanado doesn't know anything about GDP. And okay, that's unfortunate. But I'll share this with you so that you just go through. I want to share another way that we did. Yeah, I found it. Great. Can you see it?
Has yet to load. Okay, it's here.
Great. So so in this case, I didn't want to do a fact check because if I did a fact check, the vice president's claim was correct, all right. But I just wanted to find out that although the vice president claim was correct, we have a situation that shows that the unemployment is even far worse than what the vice president is talking about. It's like the vice president is living a different world and we are living a different world. He's using 2020 figures whilst we have 2022 figures available. And he's using 2020 figures to portray to us that youth unemployment is 9%. But if you look at the current 2021 population and housing census, it gives a data or figure which shows that it is far worse. Do you understand? That's what we call wrong context. So I wanted to do something like that here. So I wrote about it. It says current youth unemployment rate is far worse than 2017 to 2020 average of 9%. What do I mean here? It means that, hey, you are correct. The average between 2017 and 2020 is 9%, but the current situation we have is worse. So let's look at how I wrote that story. So first, I started with the quote, the claim Bawumia made, the vice president. He said, please, I am not political, I'm apolitical. My job is to fact check everybody. So if you're in government, I'll fact check you. If you're outside government, I'll fact check you. So I'm apolitical. So let's look at this, without any political spectacle. So he says, this is the vice president, says, youth unemployment has registered a decline from an average of 12.92% between 2014 to 2021 to an average of 9% between 2017 to 2021. Correct, perfecto. So I wrote, those were the words of the vice president, Dr. Bawumia. Then I came to give my judgment. Absolutely true. Now, why am I saying absolutely true? I am now coming to quote where I got the figures from. I came to say, according to data put out by the World Bank, it was clear the vice president was using World Bank data. So I said, absolutely true. According to World Bank, according to data put out by the World Bank, Ghana's average youth unemployment rate indeed, so it means I'm affirming academic writing, indeed reduced from 12.9%, that's the period 2014 to 2016, to 9% between 2017 and 2020. So it means I've told my reader that, hey, what Bawumia said was true. But guess what? See what I'm coming to do again. Then I showed my reader my source. Okay, so I took a screenshot and put it in a nice frame, put the Joy News logo under it. And I showed my reader the unemployment cyclical movement, okay? So that my reader can just go there. And I'm talking about youth unemployment. The UN says that a youth should be between the age of 15 to 24 years, okay? That's what I'm using. And you see the cyclical movement. So my reader can go to the World Bank data and fetch more. Great. Then I came to say, unemployment. So this is just a description of the picture that I have here. It says unemployment, youth total is the same thing you find at the top here, so that it will describe the data I'm using. And it shows you the source. So if you click on this, it will send you to the World Bank data straight, okay? All right. Then after I've done all those things, I came to introduce another perspective. So I was like, according to the World Bank data, the country's youth unemployment rate increased from 13.384% in 2014 to 13.998% in 2015. then decline significantly. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to explain to my reader who may not be able to understand or see this, track the point to the axis, that the diagram you see here, this is the explanation. You understand? Are we following?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Great. All right. Then I introduce a different angle. However, so here I'm coming to tell my reader that, come on, Baumia did a great job by giving us some unemployment data. But guess what? The current unemployment we find ourselves in as a country is not what Baumia is reporting. He's reporting an old data. Okay, so I came to say that. However, current statistics contained in the so I'm quoting my source, contained in the 2021 population and housing census, put youth unemployment. Here, it means that in Ghana, when we say a youth is someone who is between 15 and 35 years. And Baumia is a Ghanaian, so you should be using this. Okay. So put youth unemployment at 19.7%. Now look at the difference. 19% and 9%. That's significant, right? So representing a percentage rise of 118.89% relative to, so I'm making a comparison, relative to the 9% between 2017 and 2020. Super. And I came to put a picture of the Ghana Statistical Service, the population, where I picked the data from. So this is the population report. So I put this out there for anyone who wants to further read. Then I came to say, simply put, youth unemployment in Ghana has more than doubled from an average of 9% between 2017 to 2021 to 19.7% in 2021. Do you understand? Then I stated that further analysis shows that unemployment rate among population 15 years and older is 13.4% and is higher for females. So it means if you are a female, you are youth, you are likely to be unemployed than a male, which is just 11%. So here I was just giving more flesh to my story. So that was it. So here I combined two things. I did a fact check and then I also added my opinion. Okay. So the first bit was the fact check. Was here I stated my claim made by Baumia. Then I gave my judgments. Then I gave my explanation why I think Baumia was right. Provided evidence. Yeah. Then I introduced a different angle to tell my reader that although Baumia is correct, if you compare his data to what we have currently, what the figure we have is completely higher than what we see currently. And so basically, that is fact check. And it's not anything rocket science. It's something which is very easy to do. Anyone else can do it. But since you have math, statistics, economics, actuarial science background, you have an advantage because you understand, the terminologies and you know how to calculate things probably better than other. But anyone can be a fact checker. Come on. You don't have to have a degree in maths or statistics or economics or actuarial science to be a fact checker or a data journalist. So that brings me to the end of my presentation, phase 2 of the data journalism and fact check training. And I go by the name Isaac Kofi Agyei, and I'm a data and research analyst with the multimedia group, but I'm stationed at Joy FM and Joy News. You can find me on Twitter by using the handle Isaac Kofi Agyei, at Isaac Kofi Agyei. So if you go on Twitter right now, you can connect with me there. You can follow me on Twitter. And then on LinkedIn, we can interact by using Isaac Kofi Agyei. And if you want to reach me personally, you can use my email address, which is isaac.agyei@myjoyonline.com, and it will be a pleasure to assist you if you have any questions, if you want to explore anything, if I said anything that you need clarity, you can reach me. You can send me a mail. Yeah. So Ekuya, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
One more thing.
Sure.
If you can also, just randomly search on my Joy Online. I have stories on my Joy Online. You can read to give you a good perspective. And Monday to Wednesdays, usually you can find me on air. So on TV, on Joy News. If you are in school, you don't have TV, you can just go to Facebook or YouTube and just type Joy News Live. You see that we are live over there. You can watch us. Usually between Monday to Wednesdays from between 7 to 8 p.m. I come on air to assist the team with analysis. And then on radio too, you can tune in every day to Joy FM, and probably you can hear me speak about fact checking. Tomorrow, for instance, I will be speaking a lot because the finance minister will be speaking, and then you get to know how we work, at the multimedia group as data journalists and then fact checkers. So that is it.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'll call on Solomon to give the vote of thanks. Then Caleb would. I think
Hello,
Caleb's hand
sir.
Caleb's hand is up.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Please, what of the internship you were talking about?
Okay, so for internship, you have yesterday I was saying if you want to have an internship with Joy FM or Joy News, you can just go for your letter from what we usually do. You go and take the letter from UG, probably add your cover letter to it that you want to have an internship with the research desk at Joy News or Joy FM. Then you submit the letter to, just come to Joy FM front desk and submit the letter, direct the letter to the senior editor of Joy News, and then that's it. And then Ekuya is also working hard to get a partnership with Joy FM.
Okay,
and Joy News.
please, thank you.
So if she gets the partnership, she'll brief you more on it.
Oh, thank you so much, Ekuya. You get it in advance.
Amen. So I'll call on Solomon to give the vote of thanks.
Please,
Then
thank you.
Caleb would give the closing prayer. Yes, I think we can leave.
Okay,
So
Mr. Isaac, Kofi Agyei would like to first and foremost thank you for buying out time to help educate us. I mean, it's been a very resourceful time from yesterday and today. We've learned a lot. For putting out yourself to help us personally. We'd also like to thank Ekuya, our president, and any other person in order who helped make this seminar a big success. Yes, and I also like to thank my colleague students who made time to join and learn and get impacted from this great knowledge session. Yes, so all in all, we'd like to thank everyone. Thank you.
thank you. So Caleb, please, can you give the closing prayer?
Hold on, I think there's an opportunity. Let me share with you. Maybe you can join. I just saw it in one of my pages.
Hello.
You see my screen? You can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sure.
Yes, please.
Where is this? Okay. Someone just sent something. Let me try and see if you can. Okay. So there's this, I just saw this data fair. I'll share with the Kuya. Then if, it's between Tuesday, 19th, okay, July. So I'll share with the Kuya and then what the program is about and everything. I'll share the necessary details with her. But have this, and you can pin it somewhere. It's a data fair by Ghana's Parliament, African Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Ghana Statistical Service, and then INAPS. So yeah, that's what I want to share with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Caleb, I think you can do the question pair now. Caleb, right.
Oh, I
If
can also pray.
Okay. Okay, sure. So you can go ahead. Caleb.
Okay, so shall we close our eyes and pray? Our Heavenly Father, we would like to thank you for giving us life first and foremost and helping us to find time to join this successful session. It's our prayer that you help us to put and practice every single thing we've learned from this particular session. We also into your hand. Please be with them, guide, protect them, and bless them with the ability to find more sumptuous opportunities like this that will help build our future. Yes, there's and many more other blessings that we ask from you through the office of your dear Son, our reigning King, Christ Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all
Amen. So
very much.
have a nice day, evening, and good night.
Good night.
Sound
Bye-bye.
sleep, everyone. Bye. Please, I'm reminding the statistics students that we have assignment to submit tomorrow.
Oh, hello. Please, I was logged out.